So I am your younger sister. You like to tell everyone I'm older.
Filipino culture is like, we love the food, we love our family, but they're so unfiltered. Like when you see them, they'll be like, what's that on your face? Or, oh, did you get fat? They're just funny. You kind of did a documentary with Grandma.
It's called a legacy interview or legacy video. So I wanted to ask her about, how she came to the US. I think I like the stability of just working for someone and just having a set schedule.
Going on your own is like kind of like 100% commission. You have nothing. If you don't sell,
I'm in a halau, so I dance hula. I've been dancing for a little over a year. I made a lot of friends with hula sisters, and like I said, a lot of them are Filipinos. It's really hard to make friends as adults, especially if you're not working with other people, or I guess mostly you make friends with people you end up working with.
Yeah.
So it was amazing.
We do fight. I mean, siblings fight. It's normal. You will go a couple days not talking, but then we'll act like it's, no apology needed. She wanted more, expected more.
Very high expectations.
Yeah.
But I think that's just the migrant mentality, right?
I convinced her to come on so we can talk about us, our upbringing, our family. We are half Filipino. She's half Mexican, right?
Yes.
Tell us about yourself before I ask you a bunch of questions.
Sure. So I am your younger sister. You like to tell everyone I'm older. I'm almost 6 years younger. My name is Lizel. Let's see. I work in project management. I have one daughter. She is 28, and I have two grandkids.
Two grandkids.
Yes.
Where do you work?
I work for a healthcare staffing company.
So you've been doing that for how long?
On and off for the past 8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
I think she's lucky because she works remotely from home, right?
Yes. So during COVID, we went remote, and I'm still remote. So yes, I live in San Diego County.
Yes. We've actually lived in San Diego our whole lives. I moved up to Orange County about 4 years ago, and my sister's there. We grew up in Oceanside, and unfortunately, both of our parents have already passed from cancer, and then we've had a recent death. My grandma, was that this year?
February or January, yes.
Yeah, this year. So, yeah, we spend a lot of time in Hawaii. My sister loves Hawaii. When we have this issue where if I go to Hawaii, I'll go for 2-3 days and I'm done, and then I have to come back. She likes to stay for how long?
At least a week.
Yeah, I feel like I get bored. It's not just Hawaii. Like any city that I go to, I feel like 2-3 days is enough for me because I jam pack everything. We haven't been on a lot of trips together, but we did Hawaii, we did New York.
Yes.
Right, with my cousin.
Yes.
So maybe more trips to come, hopefully next year. I'm free in January if you are.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, are you watching the grandkids a lot?
No, not really. Gabby, my daughter, shares custody. So she only has half the time.
Yeah. So I watch her as a grandma because I'm not a grandma yet. So I'm not looking forward to being the babysitter, but okay. I look forward. What's in the future for you as far as work? Do you want to step up in management there at that company? Because I feel like you've been there forever.
I have.
Or are you happy?
I am, yes. I think just staying within the same role and moving up, but not necessarily managing other people.
Yeah.
I really don't want to
That's
look
not
over other
fun.
people. Exactly.
That's not fun. It's kind of like, to be honest, it's kind of like babysitting.
Exactly.
Adults.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
So
and
I
it's
don't want to
stressful.
do that. Yes.
I mean, even if they offer you a lot of money.
I don't think I'd be willing to do it because I can still grow within my role.
Yeah.
There's other titles like director.
Oh.
But I don't necessarily have to manage people. I can still manage projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you changed roles.
Yes. I actually left during COVID. I was recruited to work in mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
So I became a licensed sales assistant. I did that for about 1.5 years until the market turned, and I went back to healthcare staffing.
Yeah, I think that that was a time where they did a lot of layoffs in the mortgage business.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And any trips you have planned? I know you just
Uh,
went to Hawaii.
I did. I've actually been 3 times this year. So, like you said, we do go to Hawaii often.
Me 5
Um,
times. Yeah.
our mom is buried there, and all of our mom's family is there. So, we are there a lot. Uh, I think the only trip I have planned is probably Hawaii again.
When?
Um, I'm not sure yet, but
Did you say
I will.
January or?
I was thinking about January.
Okay.
Um, and I'm supposed to go to Spain with a friend in August.
Oh, next year.
Yes.
What part of Spain?
I'm not sure yet. It's her birthday trip, so I'm just waiting for the
Oh.
details.
I hear Barcelona's nice and Mallorca.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, and Marbella. I want to go. I haven't been to Spain. Um, you should go to Europe though.
I do want to go, yes. That's the goal.
Yeah. So we should talk about our family.
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
So we have 2 cousins. They're kind of our best friends, Renelle and Antoinette. We grew up with them. They're also half Filipino. I think the other half is Puerto Rican Irish. So now we're much older and we have kids, and some of us have grandchildren. And it's always funny because I feel like the 4 of us girls were always like in a bubble because um, our culture is like Filipino culture is like, okay, we love the food, we love our family, but they're so unfiltered. Like when you see them, they'll be like, "What's that on your face?" Or, "Oh, did you get fat? Or did you gain weight?" Or, they're just funny. Funny. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of Filipino TikToks that are making fun of their families, and it's hilarious. I just who do we make fun of
I
though?
agree. Just very direct. So one of the first things, for example, my best friend that's Filipino, so not even family, and her mom, the first thing they say to me is, "You gained weight or you lost weight." So it's
Who's
always
this?
commenting, Paulette,
Oh,
always commenting about our weight. So I think that's like one of the first things, but we just go straight for it. There's no filter.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
direct.
Or they don't ask you to eat, they tell you to eat. Eat this, eat that. Why are you not eating? But why are you fat?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we have a lot of uncles, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody's in Hawaii. Our grandma just passed away. We have one auntie. Um, and it's crazy because I remember going to our cousin. I think you were young, so maybe you don't remember, but our cousin's wedding, and there were 2,500 people that showed up. And then we didn't go to a family reunion that they had because there's a mixture of like a Hawaiian background in there. Half of our family is half Hawaiian, and 5,000 people went to that family reunion. I like somehow connected through the bloodline, and I wish we would have went because I think we have like distant family, not first cousins, but maybe second or third on Molokai, on the other islands, this and that.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel like, and the reason why, I mean, to be perfectly honest, is because my grandma had her set of kids, and then she had a sister that had their set of kids, and we're actually close to them, the
To our
Pasquale.
second cousins, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Even though both grandmas have passed away, we've gone close to them. We visit them all the time, and then we have Hawaiian cousins that live in Las Vegas too, and we hang out with them all the time because we're kind of all like the same age. But yeah, uh, the hardship that we had this year and last year was the passing away of our grandmas. So, and I feel like this year, um, there's like a there's like a rift.
Riff. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
She was definitely the glue that held us together. So it'll be
yeah.
interesting to see what the dynamic is
Yeah, but
now.
I heard our cousins that we hang out with, they're all gonna go to the Philippines.
That would be awesome if we did a
Yeah,
trip together.
I know. I'm not looking forward to that heat though. You've Do you remember going to the Philippines?
No, I think the last time I went, I was 4.
You should go.
Yes.
I mean, even
It's
if I
been
don't
a
go,
while.
yeah, you should go. I mean, the food there is cheap. The massage, I remember, was like $6. Um, yeah, we we have 2 uncles in the Philippines. Nobody lives in the Philippines except those 2 uncles. So I suppose we'd be visiting them.
True. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for us to all go together and take a trip. We have a lot of fun when we're with them,
Yeah.
for sure. We're always laughing and talking about our parents and making fun of how grandma spoke
Oh,
her broken
yes.
English.
You kind of did a documentary with grandma.
So I did a it's called a legacy interview or legacy video. I actually need to find it because I never edited it. But
It's
yes,
kind of
I
hard.
did. It was hard. There was also a dog barking in the background.
Oh,
So it was very difficult to understand her. So I would definitely need to add subtitles to that. But yeah, it's been a while. And that was my goal just because we didn't have a chance with our parents.
yeah.
So I wanted to ask her about, how she came to the US and how she met, grandpa
And
and
what
all
are
her
like the key
kids.
things that you discovered since I didn't watch it yet?
Let's see. At 90, she had a very good memory. She remembered
She
all
was
her
90 at the
relation.
time?
I think she was 90 or just about 90.
Okay.
She remembered all her relationships. She spoke about that. She was married a few times. I think she had her youngest aunt who's only a few years older than me. She's younger than you, in her late 40s. So she spoke about that. Let's see. I think what stood out mostly is just how she was a widow with 5 kids.
Yeah.
And so how she had to just lean on her family and everyone kind of helped her with the children and she worked.
How to survive.
Yes.
Yeah. Did she talk about how they ended up in Hawaii?
So her dad worked on the plantations, I believe. And so he eventually migrated to Hawaii. I think he ended up marrying a Hawaiian woman that he had kids with. I want to say our great grandpa, she said, had over 20 kids.
Wow.
I think 3 different wives, and 2 of them were Hawaiian. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure how, but somehow he was able to bring grandma. And then eventually that's how our mom came. Grandma petitioned for, all of her kids eventually.
Mhm.
And that's how they ended up in Hawaii.
Yeah. And then I remember you were talking about like her hardship. Was there some sort of like with her and her husband, like some sort of abuse?
I don't really remember the abuse. There might have been, but I know that he had cheated on her multiple times.
Yeah.
So, and then he would come back and they would get pregnant again and he
Oh.
would leave with someone else. And then she would come, get pregnant again when they were back together.
Were they married?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I wish we did one on our parents. Our mom, she passed away so young. She was
52.
52. So young. And dad was
I don't remember how old he
also
was.
young,
Yes.
in his 60s.
In his 60s, maybe early 60s.
Yeah, both from cancer. So we miss them very much. Dad is buried.
So they were both cremated, and
Okay.
then his ashes were scattered in Mexico, and then mom's ashes we buried in Hawaii.
Yeah. Okay, so we didn't keep dad. We didn't.
No, he one of his last wishes, which I think we didn't realize until we reread his wishes, was that he wanted to be scattered somewhere in Mexico. So initially we had them with our family in Mexico, and then they eventually scattered them.
They did?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And you have actually step siblings.
Yes.
from
So dad
Carmen.
married. Yes. Dad remarried. And later in life, and our stepmom, Carmen, has 2 kids. So, and they're in Mexico City. Yeah.
Yeah. So my sister actually she's just not an early grandma compared to me, but she became an early mom. And sorry, we're gonna cut that out. I thought I turned that off. So, when we were younger, my sister kind of moved up in life ahead of me. Like we were both in school. And how old were you when you got pregnant?
I was 16.
16. So she had to grow up really fast, right?
Yes.
How do you feel about that? Like looking back?
Gosh,
Of course
it was,
you won't take anything
yeah,
back, but
it was hard, but mom was there for me.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, she really supported me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was 17, just about to start
And dad.
senior year. Yeah.
And dad.
Yeah.
And can you believe it? Even though she had a kid at 16, she still graduated high school and college.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Even before my friends that didn't have kids. So,
yeah. And some of them didn't even graduate college. So that's remarkable. You should be proud of yourself. Now your daughter's like, you can practically hang out with her because of the age difference.
yeah, we're 17 years apart. Yes, everyone asks if we're sisters, which I think you get a lot too. We just look,
Yeah.
I think, younger than our age.
Yeah.
And our daughters, yeah, we get along well with them. So, yeah.
We have an uncle that just recently moved to the Philippines. And unfortunately, like, he was my favorite uncle. I'm still is, but how do I say this? Like, he had moved there because everyone found out that he had a second family. So obviously, what grandma shared with us with her husband has like somehow transcended, like I, not just like domestic violence, but also like having an affair or having another woman or having other kids. Um, I don't know how I feel about that because I, since he's moved, I don't talk to him that much. Have you talked to him?
No, not often. I think we
Yeah.
saw him right before Grandma passed. He came to visit.
Yeah. I'm a little bit torn about my feelings with him. Like, I love him and I miss him, but then I can't help but not like be upset with him. And because I'm really close to his kids and, and I see how they hurt and it's just a shame. I hope he figures it out. So that way he can be back in our lives again. And I think that's why he moved to the Philippines, not just to be with his second family, but just to get away from his mistakes. So yeah, there's a lot of hardship that goes on. We do have a lot of, gosh, I just went to Hawaii and then like, I feel like I couldn't see everyone because, our cousin is fighting with their wife and this and that. And then like, because one of our grandmas passed away, I just found out that, oh, so and so is not talking to this auntie because they were fighting about money. And that's why I like that you and I are in California and we can kind of stay away and act like we don't know anything that's going on and then go back there and pretend like, hi, what are we eating today? So we love them. But my cousins that do live there, they're like, girl, stay in California as much as you like to come here and visit. The family is like all up in your business, in your life. They're judging who you're with, what you're doing, where you're working, this and that. So I think we're lucky.
I think so too. Yeah, it's that Island Express. So I think they gossip a lot. But I get calls too from either Vegas or Hawaii and find out what's going on. Yeah, so I think they're definitely a little toxic, like all families can be, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is nice that we're here away from the island. So yeah, we're not as close, and everyone's not in our business all the time. So they don't really know what's going on. It's just what we share with them, right?
Yeah. We hardly share anything with our elders. We do share with our cousins, the ones that we're
True.
really close to,
Yes.
because we have similar life experience. We've been in and out of relationships and this and that, and we all have kids. So it's a good support group, I think.
I think so too. Like you said, we're close to our second cousins. I remember talking to our cousin, and she was saying that her friends or other people were saying, like, wow, I don't even talk to my first cousins. It's crazy you guys have such a close connection to your second cousin. So
Yeah.
we definitely make an effort to visit and hang out with them when we're in Hawaii.
Yeah. Yeah. So how was it growing up with me?
Um, you were mean to me, as older sisters can be, I think. Um, uh, I remember you used to like tickle me, and you wouldn't stop, and then I'd start crying and running to mom and dad, and yeah, I feel like you bullied me a lot.
Really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, maybe you don't remember, but I remember.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, just I mean, you had to drag me everywhere. I remember that when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
So you wanted to go with your friends, but mom made you take me everywhere. So I just went along wherever you and your friends went.
So that was like a bummer.
You're like,
She had
I
this
can
cat.
go, but I have to bring my sister.
Yeah. Okay, I remember she had this cat, and I'm allergic to cats. Number 1. Number 2, mosquitoes and fleas love me. They love my blood type, so bit the crap out of me. Like maybe she would get 1 or 2 bites, and I would end up with 30 on each leg. So I hated that cat. How'd you get rid of it?
I was actually allergic to cats too. I think when I got pregnant, mom made me get rid of it.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay. So no more kids for you, huh?
no
Just
more.
grandchildren.
No.
Do you
Yeah,
wish you had another
I
one?
do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have 2 girls, and, not always bliss.
No.
As you know, 2 girls
Yes.
can fight. They get into cat fights and this and that. But yeah. Um, what do you ever want to open up your own business?
No, I am not an entrepreneur like you. I think
Oh,
I like the stability of just working for someone, and um, just having a set schedule,
yeah.
and just knowing my days planned, or just it being predictable,
Yeah.
my schedule, my income, my, benefits, things like that. So,
Yeah, I mean, as long as you have like a 401k, as long as you're saving it for retirement, I think it's fine.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, it is scary. Like, did you think I was crazy for quitting my job? And
No, no.
I,
Because you
it was
have
pretty scary for me.
true, but I think even with your ex-husband and you guys owning multiple businesses, I feel like you learned a lot from him,
Yeah.
so you kind of knew what you were getting yourself into.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah, my very first business was a nail salon. Then I sold that like after a year. And that was when gosh, how long ago was that? Maybe 12 years ago? So I got the experience, and that's how I knew that I didn't like managing people, because they would fight. I mean, if you go get your nails done at a nail salon, you you don't see the back end of it. Like they would fight over customers, fight over money. They would even ask for like upfront paychecks or loans, and I was like, "Okay, I need to sell this because I don't have time for this." So yeah. I mean, to be honest, like going out on my own, I was scared of missing my salary, because I've never not had a salary my entire life. And I went to school to be a nurse. And then, like, I was like, gosh, I just hated my job. And I quit because I hated my boss, but
Mhm.
I liked my role, and my clients and my customers were really I really got close to them, and then I was like, okay, well, I think I can do this. I think I can be good at doing this. And then, Leon's like, just do it, just do it. So I was like, okay, screw it, I'll do it. If I go bankrupt, whatever. So I quit. I missed out on the salary, and going on your own is like kind of like 100% commission. You have nothing. If you don't sell, I'm in sales. So if you don't sell, then how are you going to pay your rent, right? But luckily, my clients were so loyal to me and they trusted me no matter where I went. They followed me, and remarkably, like within the first 3 months, I made more than I did in a year at my job.
Wow.
And then that's when I knew, okay, don't stress. I think you got this. And sales is like up and down, up and down. Some weeks if it's slow and there's crickets, I get nervous. I'm like, shoot. But then one week is like crazy busy and I'm set. Like, I'm like, okay, what are you complaining about?
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So the reason why I asked you if you would ever open up your own business, because look at me, like I'm not, I feel like we're both introverts somehow. Maybe I'm coming out of my shell a little bit,
Sure.
but there's always potential. Like I went to school to be a nurse, not to be in sales. That's my mentality, that's my personality, and I feel like you grow into it. You grow into sales. Like you grow into like talking more to people, So don't don't lose hope. There's always
Sure.
I learned, and when people are training you, like scientists and doctors and this and that, you just get comfortable. Like even on a podcast, like my first day, I was nervous, and now I just, we're just talking, and it comes natural. And
Yes.
um, so what's the drama? Anything going on?
With our family, with me.
I told you about well, no, I can't say our cousin's name, but yeah, our cousins fighting with their wives. Somebody got kicked out.
I can't think of any drama. When you were saying that, I was thinking of some of our cousins that are siblings don't speak to each other anymore.
Oh yeah.
And I'm really glad that we've never gotten there. I mean, we have cousins that
fight.
have physically fought, but we haven't ever
physically.
Yes.
They have. Oh.
We haven't ever physically fought or
it's
stopped
that Puerto Rican blood
to each other. So
yeah,
I think that's a good thing with us. Also because our parents have passed, so it's just us now.
Yeah, we do fight. I mean, siblings fight. It's normal. And then maybe we'll go a couple days not talking, but then we'll act like it's no apology needed. And sometimes we're very hormonal, but unfortunately, our two favorite cousins are not talking, so it's kind of awkward. It's weird.
True, because you're closer to one and I'm closer to the other, right? So
yeah,
even just us having a relationship with them, it can be difficult.
Yeah.
Not trying to take sides or seeming like we're in the middle.
And it's a shame because Thanksgiving is coming up and we can't even all get together. They're very stubborn. It's high ego, too much pride, very stubborn. I feel like even if they did apologize to each other, it's still, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that'll pan out.
This is why we have therapy, guys. Yeah.
Well, I'm in therapy, so I have been for almost 2 years.
Do you like your therapist?
I do.
How long have you been with this one?
So almost 2 years. The initial reason why I went to her is I think has gotten a lot better. I was actually thinking about switching to a Filipino therapist.
Really?
Only because I feel like it's hard to relate and you can't really explain to someone that doesn't come from your culture about how you were raised, right?
Yeah.
So I can't explain like how a Filipino mother is and how she raised me to someone that may not be familiar with that.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would be easier. I think I've been seeing on social media where people will go to therapists that grew up in the same culture. And I think you can just identify more.
Yeah. Like Asian, not necessarily Filipino, but Asian.
I think, yeah. Well, I think just Filipino specifically because, they're just like you said on social media, they're making fun of how Filipinos are. I think
Yeah.
they're very similar, that migrant mentality and
Are you talking
just
about moms like tough love?
yes. Yeah.
Well, have you tried to explain to her like
I do, but I think it takes a lot of time to explain that to someone. Whereas I can go to like my Filipino friends
Yeah.
and talk to them or vent to them about mom and they'll know exactly what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Because their mothers were very similar.
What's the main thing about mom? Because to be honest, like I feel like I got the worst, like the tough love.
Yes. You did. I was the
Because
baby.
you were the baby.
Yes.
So
True.
yeah, for the first child, it's always like, yeah.
Yes.
Probably
more difficult.
Big
Yes.
issue for me.
Yeah.
I probably need therapy for that. Yeah.
Yes, you should look into it.
But what? Maybe I don't know this about you. Like, what was the tough love?
I think just not even the tough love. I think just like her never saying she was proud of me.
Yeah. She wanted more, expected more.
Very high expectations.
Yeah.
But I think that's just the migrant mentality.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They didn't come to this country for you to just be this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But also it's generational. I know that. So I think it's interesting that you say about our cousins because I went to lunch with one of them recently and he said to me like it stops with us, with our generation.
Yeah.
And I love that he said that. A lot of things that happen in our family will end with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're healthier and I think we know better.
Yeah.
And some of us are in therapy, so.
And we're moms now, so we have to like try to change things.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was so powerful when he said that to me.
Yeah. There's actually a movie about that.
Oh, It Ends With Us. Yeah, that one. But yeah,
have you seen it?
I think, yes, I did. But I think not just like the domestic violence, but other things, like you said, like just having,
Patterns.
Exactly, like having multiple women and things like that. You know, children outside of their marriages.
Yeah. Not to speak bad about our mom. I know she didn't mean it. She just had like, she was under a lot of stress. So when I say that I went through a little bit more hardship than my sister growing up with my mom, because my mom was, she was a single mom. So she was under a lot of stress and we both loved her very much. But the way she would deal with her stress is like, the discipline was
anger.
It was, for me, it was physical. Like I remember I would have to, when we were young, I think, oh my God, I fell off a tree and she got mad at me because I wasn't supposed to be up in a tree. And then she kind of like hit me. And then that hit was actually worse than falling off a tree, that I had to go to the hospital. And she instantly regretted it because I feel like, oh gosh, it reminds me of that movie. Like, not just like a husband hitting his wife. Obviously, in that movie, he loved her very much.
Yeah.
But when the anger controls you, you just like, your
rage.
reflex is like a rage. And I ended up having stitches and she was begging me, please tell them you fell off a tree, this and that. And of course I did because I was a young kid. But then, you know, I always had to be careful not to piss her off to that extent because, like, you know, in the videos, people joke about Filipino and Asian moms throwing the sandals, this and that. One time she didn't throw sandals, she threw keys, and I had to get like another set of stitches. And yeah, I think dad was there.
That. Yes.
And he was so upset. He kind of like protected me.
True.
From my own mom. So, yeah.
I didn't know you remembered the tree incident. I remember that very vividly, and I was probably only 4 years old.
It was scary. Like, yeah, I thought about running away, this and that, but she's my mom, and I think I stayed mainly because of dad. Dad was like kind of on my side.
True. That's funny you mentioned running away. I think you did once, and Dad went looking for you.
Yeah, yeah. Our childhood was very interesting. Um, I I really appreciate Dad for being there, even though he was not my biological dad. He was my stepdad, but we grew very close, and so yeah, we're lucky to have him.
Yes, definitely. He was the more calm one, and Mom was she just had a lot of anger, I think.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's from her upbringing. I just wonder where's that rooted from.
I
Did Grandma talk about it in her?
No, we didn't touch on that, no.
She didn't talk about Mom.
I mean, she talked about all of her kids in general.
Mm-hmm.
She did talk about when she had to split up the kids, Mom went with a more wealthy family.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Mom went to private school, and she did grow up differently than her siblings, right? Because of the family that ended up taking care of her.
She got education.
Correct. And Mom was the only one in her family that was college educated. Actually, both of our parents were, and we are. I think I attribute that to them, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Encouraging us to go to college.
Yeah, for sure. But even though our parents had a way of raising us, I feel like we didn't do that to our kids.
No.
We weren't so strict on them, probably because we didn't want them to go through the same. And then, maybe that backfired a little bit. But our kids are not doing bad. They're grown up. They're independent now. Have no choice but to be. And I feel like I didn't know actually that, because when I was in my 20s, I was fully independent at 17. I already moved out, had my own place. And I didn't know that when you have kids, they kind of depend on you for a long, long time. And I'm like, what? You guys are, how old are you? Like, you're supposed to pay for everything on your own. Like, stop asking me for money.
That's true.
Like, when is that going to stop?
I don't know. Yeah, Gabby's 28, and I'll still get requests to Zelle her.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait till that's over. So, thank you for coming. I know you drove how long?
A little over an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
Wait, are you planning on staying in San Diego because your job is there, or because I think you want to sell, right?
I'm actually not sure. Yes, I'm thinking about selling my house soon. So I don't know where I'll end up. It is nice that I am remote, so I can live anywhere and still keep my job. But I'm not sure. I actually contemplated going to Hawaii just because I've always wanted to live there, maybe temporarily.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll settle there because the cost of living, but I think just to fulfill that desire of maybe trying it out.
Just to get away.
Yes.
Yeah, I've thought about that too, but you could stay in my condo.
That's the plan.
Yeah. It's not ready till 2026. What was I going to say? I feel like you can move to Orange County.
I could, yes. I have thought about leaving Oceanside.
But you're committed kind of. Oh, you have to tell them about your, what do you call your hula gang?
Oh, I'm in a halau, so I dance hula. I've been dancing for a little over a year. I've danced twice in the past, but I am very committed to this halau. I made.
How often do you guys meet?
We have class once a week, and then we do an outside practice on the weekend. And then I hang out with my hula sisters at least once a week.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to keep you there in San Diego.
True. Yes. that was actually, so my therapist had recommended that I find an outside activity alone. So that's when I decided to do hula because it fulfilled that physical and that social need. Since I work remote, I don't have a lot of interaction with people.
Yeah.
So that was such a blessing. I made a lot of friends with hula sisters. And like I said, a lot of them are Filipino. So, we come from the same cultural background.
Yeah.
So we can relate to each other.
Yeah.
So that's been awesome. I was just telling someone the other day, it's really hard to make friends as adults, especially if you're not working with other people, or I guess mostly you make friends with people you end up working with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was amazing. I'm, really close to a lot of them, and, we hang out. We just actually went line dancing on Friday. So that was awesome.
Like
My first
country
time.
dancing?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. I'm glad you're making friends and you're going out. What you said you started therapy 2 years ago. What made you go to therapy?
Issues within my marriage.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And therapy helped a lot.
Definitely, yes. Because regardless of my marriage, I still need to grow and heal.
Did you try couples therapy?
Not this time around, no.
No. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you should try to go for an Asian or Filipino therapist and see what their insight is. That's going to be hard to find, I think.
True, because there are not a lot, but yes, that is my goal, to eventually find someone.
How about a male therapist to get inside a man's brain? You know what I mean? I feel like he would just be transparent with you. And
That could be true. I have a friend that has a male therapist and she highly recommends it.
yeah.
I've
Yeah.
only had female therapists
Really?
ever, yes.
Okay. I mean, my girlfriend just recently told me of a therapist here in Orange County, and she's just like, the way she describes her, I think she's too far for you, but maybe she'll do phone sessions.
Mhm.
She's not cheap, but she said she's worth every penny because she's like ammo. Like she somehow lifts you up and gives you the courage.
Mm.
So you want to throw away money like that, you should hit her up. Um, what are you doing for the holidays
Um,
besides Thanksgiving with us?
well, actually, that changed. I have to go out of town for work. I haven't told you yet.
Oh no.
Surprise. I'll be out of town for 2 weeks for work.
Where are you going?
So, just Riverside.
Okay.
Yes. So maybe I'll be able to stop by. Not too
Christmas?
far.
It isn't
Christmas,
far.
I don't know. Not sure yet.
Okay. New
No
Year's
plans.
with your girlfriends?
Maybe. Yes, we did discuss that.
Okay. I would want to meet them. I think we should talk them into playing pickleball.
Yes, that would be good. I think one of them does play pickleball. So
Yeah,
they
yeah.
actually, two of them are nurses. So I think you would have a lot in common with them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have to get I mean, it's kind of hard because we live like an hour away
An
from each
hour,
other.
yes.
And I want her to play pickleball so bad, but we'll see. I might have to go down to San Diego. You'll love it. I feel like everybody that tries it will love it. So
I'm
everybody,
excited to learn.
yeah. Thank you again for coming. Um, we're gonna ask you to come back next year and see how everything is.
Sure.
I know it's gonna be good. Thank you guys.
Thank you.